Madrid, 1834. The king is dead. You're the royal physician, summoned not to grieve, but to preserve. In the private chambers of Ferdinand VII, Queen Regent Maria Christina gives you a request so strange, so deeply unsettling, that it stops you cold. Lying beneath fine sheets isn't just the corpse of a monarch. It's the secret that haunted his reign. A grotesquely oversized, misshapen member, more legend than body part. Rumors have swirled for decades. You're about to find out how much of it was true. You're not just preserving flesh. You're preserving the physical symbol of a reign so warped by shame, paranoia, and obsession that it nearly broke a country. If you're into dark history and stories that make your jaw drop, hit subscribe. You'll want more of this. Ferdinand VII wasn't born unlucky. He was born doomed. His family tree was more loop than lineage. Centuries of inbreeding among Spanish royals had stacked the genetic deck against him. Cousins married cousins, uncles married nieces. By the late 18th century, the bloodline was breaking down, and Ferdinand was proof. Born in 1784 to Charles IV and Maria Luisa of Parma, first cousins, Ferdinand looked like royalty. But as he reached adolescence, whispers began circulating among palace physicians. Something wasn't right. His anatomy was off, disturbingly so. What should have been a source of pride became a source of shame. A massive, deformed penis described in secret medical notes as alien in proportion. One doctor wrote it resembled a billiard cue, narrow at the base, swollen at the end, and long enough to be mistaken for a walking stick. It wasn't just size, it was shape, it was dysfunction, and it would haunt him, and Spain, for the rest of his life. Ferdinand grew up in a palace full of whispers. His father, Charles IV, was a passive king more interested in hunting than ruling. His mother, Maria Luisa, openly flaunted her affair with Spain's powerful minister. Ferdinand learned early that loyalty meant nothing, and power could humiliate you just as easily as it could protect you. Then came the jokes, the glances, the snickers behind his back. Everyone at court knew about him, his bizarre anatomy. Servants talked, diplomats gossiped. His paranoia wasn't imagined. People were laughing. He turned inward, then lashed outward. The shame warped into cruelty. By adolescence, he was vindictive, secretive, and dangerous. When a page accidentally saw him undressed, Ferdinand had him flogged and the boy's family banished. No one could witness his secret and be allowed to forget it. It was more than a deformity now. It was fuel, and it would drive the rest of his reign. In 1702, Ferdinand married his cousin, Maria Antonia of Naples. She was young, hopeful, and utterly unprepared. The wedding was lavish. The night that followed was not. Before the ceremony, Maria Antonia's ladies were asked to prepare strange items, custom cushions, medical oils, unfamiliar instruments. It was brushed off as royal tradition. When Ferdinand undressed, she screamed. One witness said she called him a monster and collapsed in panic. Doctors had to intervene. Intimacy became a procedure, supported by pillows, numbed by laudanum, carried out like surgery. Over time, she became addicted. 2 pregnancies ended in miscarriage. Behind palace walls, everyone knew the truth. Her body couldn't withstand him. She died in 1807 at just 21. Officially, illness. In reality, trauma. Ferdinand grieved in public. In private, he prepared for the next. Ferdinand didn't see his first marriage as a tragedy. He saw it as a technical failure. If love and prayer hadn't worked, maybe engineering would. He commissioned a team of craftsmen, sworn to secrecy, to create a series of marital aids. Cushions, straps, braces, and bizarre medical tools were designed to make sex possible, or at least survivable. Some looked like surgical gear, others like torture devices. But it wasn't just physical. His obsession with control deepened. He began tracking his wives' cycles with astrological charts. He timed intercourse to align with fertility stars. He even brought in mystics who claimed his deformity was a sign of divine favor. The dragon's rod, they called it. None of it worked. Instead, each new ritual, each new device, only made the experience more mechanical, more alienating. What should have been private became public, clinical, and cruel. His body wasn't just failing him anymore, his mind was going with it. In 1816, Ferdinand married again. His second wife, Maria Isabel of Portugal, was 19. Another cousin, another hope, another victim. She arrived in Madrid with royal confidence. That lasted until the wedding night. Despite years of preparation, new devices, imported specialists, endless rituals, the result was the same: pain, blood, and screaming. Servants who cleaned the room afterward found broken furniture and stained sheets. It didn't look like a honeymoon. It looked like a crime scene. Maria Isabel changed overnight. She developed a stutter, flinched at the sound of footsteps, woke screaming from nightmares. Ferdinand took her fear personally. To him, it was rejection, betrayal. To her, it was survival. 2 years later, she died suddenly. The official cause was exhaustion. Those closest to her knew better. She died trying to escape the thing Spain called a king. By 1829, Ferdinand was older, sicker, and more desperate than ever. Spain was crumbling, and he still had no heir. Enter Maria Christina of Naples, young, smart, and already pregnant. Not by Ferdinand. Everyone knew the child couldn't be his. He married her anyway. He convinced himself it was a miracle, divine intervention, the long-awaited answer to decades of humiliation. When baby Isabella was born in 1830, he declared her his own and made her heir to the throne. Privately, the paranoia exploded. He stalked Maria Christina, had peepholes drilled into her walls, intercepted her letters, accused her of plotting, poisoning, seduction, treason. He'd watch her pray, nurse, even breathe, convinced every movement was part of a scheme. Their marriage was built on mutual fear and unspoken lies. The king knew the child wasn't his. The queen knew he knew, but neither could afford the truth. By 1833, Ferdinand was falling apart. His body was failing. His mind was gone. He stopped sleeping, refused food, spoke in paranoid rants about conspiracies that didn't exist. He accused everyone, his wife, his staff, even his own infant daughter, of betrayal. Doctors noted tremors, blackouts, digestive failure, and something they dared not write down: complete psychological collapse. When he died that fall, the official cause was gout. Unofficially, exhaustion from decades of rage, shame, and obsession. But the story didn't end there. Behind locked doors, palace doctors performed one last secret examination. The legendary member, deformed, massive, scarred by failed self-surgeries, was preserved. Hidden in Vatican archives, sealed away, like the truth of his reign. Ferdinand VII finally found peace. Spain did not. Ferdinand VII left behind no real heir, just wreckage. Spain was fractured, economically drained, politically unstable, mocked across Europe. The American colonies were gone. Revolution simmered at home. And on the throne sat Isabella II, a child born of a lie. The king's private shame had become a national trauma. His paranoia turned the court into a prison. His obsession with power, over women, over his body, over fate, had crushed 3 wives, ruined a kingdom, and cost millions their future. His reign wasn't just bad. It was toxic. His story isn't just about one man. It's about what happens when absolute power meets unchecked insecurity, when personal failure becomes public disaster, when a body deforms a nation. Ferdinand VII is remembered not for what he built, but for what he broke. A king consumed by himself, a country left to pick up the pieces.